Hey.
How's it
I
going?
wasn't ready. I wasn't ready.
Oh, were you putting
No,
on
I'm
your makeup
ready.
still?
No, I was having a Pricks and cider.
Well, I hope that is enjoyable, sir.
Oh, it is. Just what it says.
You deserve a Pricks and cider. Well,
Sorry.
cheers to
Sorry,
that.
people. I'm juvenile. Okay.
Hey, we love it.
Hello.
Hi, Kim. Hello. Yay. I'm so glad you found my YouTube. Um,
Hi.
I'm excited to be
hmm
here. Um, with the biggest asshole ever. Um,
What? What? Why am I an asshole?
let's take a guess.
We're a
Let's
minute into the show. We're a minute into the show. You didn't announce me. You didn't say welcome. You didn't say hi. How are you?
I said hi, how are you?
You're like, hey everybody, welcome to my show, and here's a big asshole.
His name is Jon, and that jersey behind him is pure garbage. Pure garbage.
What, the Canton Chronicle? Canton
Don't
Chronicle?
don't try to screw around with me. I'm not a substitute teacher.
Is that called gaslighting? Is that what gaslighting is?
That was actually a really good example of gaslighting.
Yeah.
So good for you, Dr. Phil.
Thank you.
Hello, everyone. If you couldn't tell, Jon and I have a very weird but comical friendship. We met each other through the most bizarre way. Um, I I am so excited to have him on the show for the very first time
Who,
ever.
my uncle? My uncle's coming on the show? You didn't tell me that.
No, I would absolutely love for your uncle to come on the show because
He's a character.
he is the sweetest. I adore him. Um, but if you don't know Jon, Jon is a man from Canton, Massachusetts.
Mhm.
He has his own YouTube show called the Canton Chronicles. It's on Sundays, correct, Jon?
Majority of the time, we like to do once a week, Sunday nights.
Okay.
Stay in
So
a happy little corner, you know.
yeah, right. Like
Yeah.
Thursday is my thing. Like I do my best to be consistent. Last week
Yeah.
there was a fundraiser going on, and I really didn't want to take away from that. So
I know
um,
it's tough. And then sometimes other shows, it is what it is. Sometimes other shows, they're at their guests, schedule. So
right.
sometimes other shows fall, and it is what it is. We have a happy little show, and it's about Canton and other things close to Canton and Karen Reed and stuff like that, and we like to have fun. I just, it doesn't always have to be serious. Although tomorrow's is going to be serious. Got some dirt tomorrow.
Ooh,
Yeah.
ooh.
Yeah.
I will definitely tune in.
Yeah.
That is exciting to hear.
You're the first person that's heard it. You got the
Yay!
exclusive. Honest to God, you got the exclusive. I haven't even put up the little trailer for it or anything yet.
Well, I will tell you what, between you and your uncle, you guys just make me feel like $1,000,000. So
Well, I mean, you look like $1,000,000, so that's why. There you go.
oh my God. Now
Is that Charlie?
Charlie?
Was that Charlie right there?
Charlie right there.
That was Charlie.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll kind of blow through this. In February, I was on a cruise with my husband, and I actually have an MRI tomorrow because I pinched a nerve in my neck, and
Oh.
I wanted to get
Did
some
you
relief.
herniate a disc or did you pinch a
Yeah,
nerve?
I have a herniated disc. I have
Which one?
spinal
C what? C3, C4?
C5 through 6.
C5 and 6. Yep.
And I've been in some really bad car accidents.
Mm-hmm.
So that's probably where they came from, the whiplash. And I really messed it up right when we were walking on the So my husband was kind enough to buy me a 7-day pass to the spa on board where you
Mhm.
could get into this thermal spa pool, and it had
Yep.
jets everywhere, like even foot jets, and they went like super super hard, and it was great.
And that's where Charlie was lurking.
I was, but he didn't lurk. I lurked. I heard his accent, and
He's too old to lurk. He's too
I
old
was
to
like,
lurk.
"Sir, can I ask you a question?" He's like,
Sir?
"Sure, sure." And I was like, "Are you from Massachusetts?" And he was like, "Yes." And I immediately went in. I was like, "I have a show on YouTube and X, and it mostly has to do with a case in Massachusetts." He's like, "Is it the Karen Reed case?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm I'm happy you know about it." And he's like, "Oh my God, my nephew knows Karen. He goes to all the things. He's the big shot in the Karen
I'm not a
Reed."
big shot. I'm not a big shot.
And
I'm barely a blip on the story.
hey, you never underestimate a blip. And if
No, I
anyone
know.
here has watched
I'm a
Ryan
big
Reed,
blip.
Ryan Hall, the weather guy, you guys will know what I'm talking about. That's like, you never underestimate a blip, because blips turn to supercells and supercells turn into tornadoes. So you're looking at a tornado in John. And
That's
so,
what ADD does.
right?
Mhm.
So I was like, "I'd love to speak with you more. You're so sweet." And I met his lovely wife, Arlene. And
She was a
we
psych nurse for years.
ended up having drinks and dinner with them one night. And then on Valentine's Day, we spent the day, Charlie and Arlene were, of course, the oldest people in the group. It was mostly 20 and 30-year-olds.
And then
your
some
uncle,
70-year-olds. No.
what's the name of the drink that he was buying or getting everyone?
Oh,
Miami Vices with tequila
jeez.
floaters for
Of course.
everyone. And
Of course they celebrate.
because he's like, it's free, because we were on a cruise, right? So we had the drink package, but
Yeah.
he made us sign up for this freaking stupid contest, a wet t-shirt contest.
Of course he did.
Frankie won it. It sounds a lot more risque than it actually is. But anyways, he's a hoot. And when I was sitting at dinner, he handed me a phone and was like, "Yeah, talk to my nephew, John." And John and I know both had the same looks on our faces. We were like, "This is so."
Well, because he kept trying to get a hold of me on an app that I didn't have. And I'm like, what is he? And I kept thinking, I'm like, all of a sudden I realized, I'm like, he's in Canada and he's too cheap to call me. So he's calling me from an app because he's got Wi-Fi. I didn't think he was on a cruise. I thought he was up in Nova Scotia. Yeah. Thank you, Kim. Love you too.
We were like in the Dominican Republic, I think, or halfway between there and British Virgin Islands. But we, I mean, if you ever have the chance to meet John's lovely family, oh my God, he is just the sweetest man. And I knew that I would like John because I hear Charlie and John. And so, and that's a compliment.
No, it is. I mean, it's people that knew my father can see some of my father, the mannerisms in me. And the same thing with my uncle. I mean, my uncle Charlie loved my father. I mean, he was 10 years younger, not 10. I forget what it was, 8 years, 9 years. But like he, from all the stories, same thing. He wanted to be just like him. Yeah.
That's so sweet.
Yeah.
Keep him close.
My God. Yeah. Not too close. No, I mean, his ashes are upstairs on my mantle, but
oh no,
yeah,
I'm talking about Charlie. But
Jesus.
Whoa.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, it took that turn.
No, it's awesome. I mean, that was my. To be honest with you, my father's funeral is the best funeral I've ever gone to in my life.
Really?
Yeah, I've never laughed so hard in church before in my life. My brother had to elbow me, tell me to. I don't know how many times he elbowed me. So, can I tell this?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So my father was retired, but he was around. And he took a job in Dedham, which is right next, right
Yeah,
by the
we all
courthouse.
get them.
And he was working at a hockey rink there, and some guy approached him, and he was raving about the ice, and he goes, "Are you in charge of the ice?" And my father's like, "Yeah." And the guy goes, "Well, my kid said it's the best ice he skated on, and this and that." And he goes, "How'd you like to come work for me?" And my father jokingly was like, "Yeah, give me 50 grand and a place to stay, and yeah, I'll do it." The guy goes, "Done." My father goes, "Oh, where's the rink?" He thought it was around here. And the guy goes, "Allentown, Pennsylvania." so my father and his mistress went down to Allentown, Pennsylvania. And he was working at a rink there. And it was a double rink, right? But instead of like up here, all our rinks are side by side under one building. Down there, it was a rink and a rink all the same way, two separate buildings.
Wow.
So he's walking out of one. So he's walking out of one building into the next, and he stepped in a gopher hole, broke his ankle, and he's 68 years old. And excuse me, he's 67. A year later, he's all upset because it hurts when he skates. My father played semi-pro hockey back in the 70s, and he just was never going to give it up. So instead of just stop skating, he went and had his ankle reset. And what happened was he ended up getting blood clots from when they rebroke his ankle a year later. He got blood clots. So the night he died, he didn't call me that night. So he'd call me one day, I'd call him the next. We go back and forth. And so he didn't call. So I called him. I'm like, I'll say, "Dad, what the F?" But I said the whole word.
What the fuck?
Oh, I didn't know if we can do this on this show. I don't know. It's your show, not mine. So I go, "What the fuck?" He goes, "Oh." Now he had this beautiful, I'll put the picture up on my Facebook, because he had this dog. He always had dogs, chocolate labs and Goldens. And so this dog her name was Duchess. And she would stand on the Zamboni as he made ice. So people in the rink are like, literally as he's driving around, there's a big dog just standing on top of the Zamboni as he's making ice. He goes, "Oh." He goes, they let Duchess in the hospital today." And I'm like, "Okay." He goes, "Yeah, and she's been so good, she can stay the night." And I'm like, "Dad, where's the dog?" He goes, "She's in the bed." I go, "Where are you?" He goes, "I'm in the chair." He's sitting in the guest chair. And I'm like, "Dad," we had a great time. And then apparently around 11 o'clock at night, he went to go get in bed with his dog, and he just keeled over and died. And so when they called me, because that was a number that his girlfriend had given him, instead of my oldest brother, I was the one that had to kind of start off the arrangement. So we had him cremated. They shipped him up here to Canton. And the funeral home, he's a state trooper, great guy. So intimidating too, though. But he was oh my God, he's best funeral home. When I die, I want to be buried by that guy.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So they shipped him up here, and then we eventually brought his ashes up to Nova Scotia. Well, most of them. So we bring him up to Nova Scotia to bury him with his parents. Now, the church is the biggest wooden church in all of North America. It's huge.
Oh, no way.
Yep, it's enormous. Yeah. And it's in the shape of a cross. Like if you were in the air looking down at it, it's a big giant cross.
Holy
So, and it's old. It's an old church, a big wooden church. And so we bring him up there, and apparently the priest was from Africa somewhere. And he spoke barely any English, no English, and just a tiny bit of French. So the woman had to translate a lot of it. And what happened was they didn't tell us that. So there's 4 boys in my family. So everybody files in. They're in the church, and they told us we were going to walk him down the aisle. And I'm like, it's a box. It's a box this big. There's 4 of us, and we're all big, guys. I'm like, What are we all
One
going to just
finger.
hold a corner
One
of the
finger.
box? I'm like, yeah, okay, here we go. Come on, Dad. Right? And right down the front is a table with, and I got his picture upstairs. He's got the biggest shit-eating grin. How you doing? You know, that's how he used to say it all the time. How you doing? So we're walking down the aisle, and all I can see is him smiling back at us. And I'm like, this is going to be, right? So now the giggles caught in, right? But when we put the box on the table, we didn't go back and sit with our wives. They put the four of us by ourselves in a row, right up front. And now I'm like, the priest, I don't know a word he's saying. We can't follow along. I don't know French either. I know a little bit of French.
Oh my God.
So, and I'm looking at him smiling on the table, his picture, and I'm like, and I lost it. And now I'm laughing and giggling, and my brother George is just elbowing me. He's like, "Cut it out!" I go, "I can't stop. This is hilarious." All I can think is my father going, "I'm paying for this," you know, like this is what you're giving me, like, and I'm dying. And my brother's like, "Can you at least pretend you're crying?" Because everyone's looking at us, and I was laughing so hard, I was crying. I was in tears because I couldn't stop laughing. And I turned to him, I go, "I am. Look at me. I'm dying." Right. And it went the whole time. I mean, it was the best funeral I've ever been to. Yeah.
I will. I can tell you right now. I am just. I have that weird reaction too in moments of like, okay, I'm gonna,
Nervous.
My best friend's mom's funeral. I had the same reactions. Yeah, at grandparents of my husband's, I like, that is my way of coping instead of crying, is to think of something funny, and it comes off as it can come off as disrespectful.
Yeah.
But there are people like that. Kim just commented, and I love that Kim is commenting. Like, if you are watching on YouTube, please let us know you are here. Make sure to like, make sure to follow us both. Hey, John, what is your?
I didn't even put my stuff on. I was running.
What's your
Canton Chronicle.
Canton Chronicle? Okay.
Canton Chronicle. Yeah.
So make sure
At
to
YouTube,
follow
I guess.
him.
Yeah.
And then mine is Lacey Jane on X, which I recognize.
Lacey Jane. Tonight you're watching Lacey Jane.
Thank you very much.
On WOHIO, Lacey Jane. Sorry.
Oh my gosh. I like when I go, you know that it's going to be a good stream when we are, how many minutes in? We are 18 minutes in, and I keep having to go like this because my mouth hurts from smiling. Like,
it's all I want to do is just have a good time.
Yeah, me too. Like,
right, Kim? Kim, are you having a good time? I see all Kim's comments.
I feel like Kim is like such a great follower of mine. I appreciate the hell out of her. So, I love to see her in the chat. And I'm sorry you didn't know my YouTube. It's, I mostly, John, as you may have.
Who didn't know your YouTube?
I don't think Kim did.
Oh. Why did Kim come here because of me?
No, I mostly do X. Like, that is.
Yeah. So this is all new for you, the YouTube.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. Like, congratulations.
I am about as new as you are, because I was on the phone with you when you were telling me that you were going to have your very first stream.
Yeah.
And,
I was.
That was in February. Mm-hmm. We were on the cruise, and
but I cheated.
Why?
Because I got guests right off the bat, and I got Boozy as the co-host, the extra co-host. I got Eric, so I kind of cheated. I got a lot of help. It's not just me. Look, it's you right there.
At first, I had a manager, and so that was really helpful to help me cipher through like questions. But I would only do it on Spaces, not on YouTube. So YouTube, right. I've had to learn all by myself. I use YouTube tutorials on YouTube, so that's funny.
I just wing it, and I'm like, if I mess up, I mess up, people. That's how I just tell it.
I had a really bad stream on Sunday for it, it was just it was not good and it
Why?
wasn't my
Because of the weather?
I think it was the weather in some
Hmm.
aspects. And then there were a bunch of other streams going on, and it was just we decided to call it and reschedule it. But you have those learning
Yeah,
experiences. All you
I
can
had a
lose is
I had a thunderstorm on my second show in February here in Massachusetts.
yep.
We don't get thunderstorms in February in Massachusetts.
We spent the night in the basement last night, John.
I
Let me
know.
tell
I
you how
heard.
fun that was.
We actually over here they actually showed video on the news of the tornado. That thing was huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if you know this about me. That is one of my hobbies is weather chasing. I
Oh.
am
Well, what else are you going to do in Ohio?
I'm certified through the National Weather Service. That is like, I love it.
She's a tornado chaser.
I like the rush,
Hmm.
the adrenaline. What? Oh, so
Like, so you're like Bill Paxton.
no, I guess, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Whatever her name was.
And that's like you with motorcycles, right?
No, I mean I have a motorcycle, but I know nothing about them. I mean I can fix mine.
Oh,
But
your uncle
yeah.
made it seem like you'd been riding
No, I
motorcycles.
got it. No, I got a motorcycle right when I got divorced.
Oh,
No, it was right before. I got one before I was divorced,
that
and then
was the
traded in
reason
for a
for the
bigger one.
divorce.
No, 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 no. Um, no, I just it was the midlife crisis for me. You know, I wanted all the things. There's Detective Mullins. Hello, Mullins.
Hello, Mullins.
Yeah, no, I wanted to do all the things. Growing up, my mother would never allow us. My father had a motorcycle. My mother chained it to the telephone pole and put a for sale sign on it on him. Yeah, she would
I
not
like
let.
your mom.
Yeah, yeah. She called me today. Shame that she has my work number. Um, so, uh, yeah, no, she put a for sale sign on his motorcycle, and he he only took it to like softball on Sundays and stuff. Rode it around town, but yeah, she wanted
Okay,
nothing to
that
do with
seems
that.
acceptable.
Same thing with guns. He
I
had
like.
shotguns and rifles, and they were always in the cabinet hidden behind my grandmother's fur coats. We had this metal cabinet down in the basement.
Yep,
Um,
we have a gun
and
safe.
and that's where my grandmother's real. She had all these fur coats of different animals, and that's where he had his rifles, rifles and shotguns behind that. We weren't. Oh, she liked and subscribed. There you go. We yeah, we weren't allowed. So we didn't even have toy guns growing up. So we had to make them out of
Oh
Lego,
wow.
or we used our hockey sticks. Yeah, we'd
You
run
know
around with
what?
our hockey sticks.
That tracks. Yep,
You know.
those
So
can do as
yeah.
much damage, man.
So the minute yeah, the minute I got divorced, I bought a couple hockey sticks. That was my big purchase. When I got divorced, my first purchase, when I said, that's it, I can buy anything I want. I went and bought a hockey stick. And then I was at the counter. He goes, is anything else? That it? I go, no, hold on. Ran back and grabbed another one. I said, I can buy anything I want. Yeah. But Mullins and I took a couple times. We went all the way up around Cape Breton and Prince Edward Island and then back down through New Brunswick and Maine. We did it twice. My buddy and I 2 years ago rode out to Sturgis together. And
Oh yeah, my friends have done that.
yep. And then we went down to Georgia twice.
Do you like Georgia?
I like Georgia. It's a little town in Georgia that many years ago it was just kind of dying. So they brought someone in and they turned it into like a party town. It's like a little German town,
Ooh.
and it's on the Chattahoochee River. And what they do is they bus everybody up to the top of the river. They put them in their tubes, and they spend the day riding down the river. And when they get close to town, all the bars have decks, and they look over into the water and watch
Oh,
everybody. Yeah, yep. And then they get out and just give the truck the tubes, and the truck trucks them back up again for other people. Yeah,
I'm
Athens, Georgia.
oh,
Is it
Well, I
Athens?
won't
I think
forget
it's
that.
Athens.
I went to Athens, Ohio for my
Yeah, I
bachelor's
think
and my
it's
master's degrees.
I
So,
think it's Athens, Georgia.
um,
Maybe.
Helen, Georgia, two
Helen. Sorry, Helen. That's it. Helen,
on
Georgia.
Chattahoochee.
Helen. It was Helen. It was for a motorcycle rally. Yep.
I might have to look at the closest airport and see how
Yep.
much it would cost to fly down there this summer.
Yeah.
That sounds
They
like a
have. Oh my God. So the one of the pictures that I always am putting up is me walking. Oh, there's a video of it. Me walking down the street in my Canadian Speedo and wooden shoes because one of the little stores there in Helen, Georgia, was a Dutch store, and they
right.
had all these Dutch things. And of course, I wanted to get the painted ones. And as soon as he knew I was going to be wearing them, and they weren't just for to put somewhere, he's
Mhm.
like, "Don't get the painted ones. You're going to ruin them. Here, just take the regular wooden ones." And I'm a size 14 foot, so you could see me walking
Holy
down the street in
smoke.
these size 14 wooden clogs. And my buddy goes, "We will buy you your drinks for the rest of the night if you walk in," because they knew I had my Speedo on because we were going to go in the river. He goes, "If you walk down the street right now just in your clogs," and I did, and everybody's honking, and I'm like, I'm never going to see any of these people again. And then I realized there's so many people. This is bigger than like the little motorcycle thing. It was like one of these big giant hot air balloon
Like
things that they had
Sturgis.
going on. So well, no, it was for like all these hot air balloon people, and yeah, it was
Done that.
quite the
Never do that again.
yeah. But oh, you wouldn't? That's on
No.
my bucket list. Hot air
Oh
ballooning.
my God. Oh my God. We did it over the Grand Canyon.
Hmm.
And it is the most terrifying
So, yeah,
experience. I
it's
cried
not
the
the fall.
entire time.
It's not the
Um,
fall.
so, anyways, we have, as you can tell, like John and I are just like kindred souls. We have a lot in common, and
Hmm.
the tomfuckery and the funniness just we could just go on and on.
100 miles an hour.
True, that too.
Hmm.
So thanks for the vacation tip because that is like gold.
Yep.
Secondly, I thought I'd let you know I did book airfare for Dedham.
Nobody flies into Dedham.
Okay, I'm
Yeah.
flying in.
For Logan, are you
Into a local
Rhode
air.
Island or Logan?
I'm flying into a local airport, and uh, I will send you the date. I am
Yeah.
not, or where I'm where I'm staying.
No, you don't have to say where you're staying. Are you
Yeah,
flying into Providence or Boston?
Boston.
Uh, Providence is so much easier.
I know, but it was
Yeah.
from Columbus to
Yeah.
Boston. I think I was able to use credits from like
Yep.
canceled flights. I didn't pay anything out of pocket.
Oh,
Um,
cool.
so it was like 250 round trip, and it's nonstop. So like,
Oh, that's awesome.
why wouldn't
Mullins and I
do-
drove out to Columbus just to see the Killers.
and you and I were at the same concert. Remember that?
Mullins, she was at the same concert, Mullins.
Concert.
But
Same
we were
concert.
right down front. We were down front in the mosh
I
pit.
was down front.
We were
I was
like
having a
front,
little-
middle, but we were there so early that the sun was beating down. So I was still
I
right
was
down
on
front.
the
Oh, we were right in front of like some guy that's like your representative, state rep or something. And
Okay.
everyone was cheering him. They had him stand up and everybody cheered for the guy. I don't know if the state rep or he was the
If they
mayor
were
or something.
cheering, then I probably didn't like him.
If he was what?
If they were cheering for him at a Killers concert, he
Well,
probably
the people knew who he was. He was in. So where we all were, me and you,
I don't
like
remember that.
that down front, right?
Yeah, the pit.
Then there was like a half wall because we kept leaning against the wall, and then everybody sat behind us. He was in the very front, like private box kind of thing, and then everybody
those
sat
boxes
further.
are nice.
Yeah.
I would love to sit in one of those for a Killers concert. That was a great concert.
That was awesome.
It was so much fun. It was hotter than hell, but
Yes, it was.
my apartment was literally I'm not kidding you, like diagonally across the street. So, I
Oh,
was young and dumb and able to drink myself under a table, just get wasted and just, stumble
I'll
back
tell you, that whole area,
to the
so clean.
apartment. Yeah,
Everything's so clean. Yeah. And
it
the
still is.
bricks. Yeah.
It
That's all
still
because
is.
of the insurance companies.
We do. Yes,
Progressive,
nationwide. And
nationwide. Yeah.
yeah, we have a lot of things going on in Ohio.
Yep.
It's become a hub for all these tech companies to put their headquarters and their big
Yeah.
facilities, Intel, Google, Facebook. So
That's the
um,
first time I wavered on the big O, where I'm like, all right, they're not that bad.
I mean, we kind
That's
of
just
suck,
that's
but
just Ohio State. Yeah, yeah, they do.
okay, we are
But
national champions. You literally
yeah,
cannot
but
say that.
yeah, but who did you lose to?
It doesn't matter, dude. We
That's
won
all
it.
that matters is that one game a
We
year.
won it
That's
all.
it. That's one game. No, you didn't win them all. You didn't win them all. You didn't. You didn't win them all.
You're the worst. You're the
I'm not the
worst.
worst. I'm
You're the
not the
worst. I
worst.
love
I'm
you,
just.
but you're the worst.
Did
Um,
you just snort?
no, that was my dog.
Oh, okay.
So anyways, what's up with the duck suit? There are people on here who don't know
All right.
who don't know about the case, and we're gonna get into that. But
Well, so real quickly, the costumes have nothing to do with Karen Reed.
okay,
Yeah. So when the select board because of all the stuff going down with the select board, and everybody, you get your 3 minutes at the microphone and this and that. I was talking to someone and it was a joke, and they're like, because I wasn't going to get up and yell like everybody else, and I like to do things out of humor. So, we
yeah,
were calling them chicken because they were going to shut down the mics so nobody could talk anymore. I'm like, what a bunch of chickens. I'm like, oh, I'm going to show them that they are. So I got the chicken costume. And I showed up and I had all these signs, the select board, select board's chicken. And then, of course, after the meeting, I was talking to, the select board and everything in the hall. And they're like, yeah, funny, John, funny, right? I go, I swear to God. One time thing only. I'll never come back. You'll never see the chicken again. No, okay, I hope not. So I was telling my brother, what was going on, and he lives like 6 houses from town hall, and he's like, we're laughing. And he's like, oh man, he goes, you should show up as the elephant in the room, right? So I go on to Amazon and I get the elephant costume. I show up the next meeting with, we just want to be heard, HERD, right? I had all these elephant jokes that had to do with, and they're all on signs. Elect me, I'll work for peanuts. Yeah. So they were pissed, right? Because they all of a sudden, this time I didn't walk in until the meeting started, and here comes this
like
giant
freaking you
elephant,
out.
do 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 do, right? And there's nothing they can do. I'm not saying anything, and I'm standing in the back, and everybody knows those inflatable costumes. They're little battery pack fans. Well, my fan is right up against the radiator because I'm in the back of the room against the radiator, and you can hear the thing going. And the person next to me is like, "Can you not lean on the radiator? We can hear that." And I'm like, "Jesus Christ," And so they were mad. Oh, Kate Moulton, hello. And so I'm in the back. We go out in the hall, and the select board, they're walking up, and one of them's giving me a dirty look. And I said to him, I go, I told you no more chickens. And he goes, you're right, you did. And they were so mad because they realized I'm not a chicken, now I'm an elephant. And then right, and then it was the coffee cup because they all had their giant coffee cups, and he was drinking out of his coffee cup all the time, and that's all he did the first year. And I'm like, oh, I'm going to show up as a coffee cup. Well, I couldn't get the Dunkin' Donuts one; it was all sold out. So I got like a Starbucks one, and so I did the coffee cup. Then I got the next chicken, a different chicken, a fighting chicken. And then they shut the meetings down. So then I just started going to their houses and going live right at 7 o'clock when they went live from outside of their houses. And I told them, I go, I'm going to do this till you guys come back. But, yeah, so it was my way of protesting without getting up to the mic and screaming and yelling at them.
So wait, it wasn't the duck. Did you do a duck?
Oh, I did do the duck. You're right.
Okay,
So
you scared me.
yes, no, you're right. Then there was the duck,
Okay.
and I did the duck twice. So the first time I showed up, and I went into Kansas. I bought 100 ducks, the little one. I bought 100. That's me, by the way. That's the table. Bought 100 ducks, and I got the duck costume, and I showed up into Canton Center, and I was just handing people ducks. There was no sayings on them or nothing, right? And everybody's like, what's this for? I go, it's absolutely nothing. I have ducks to give, and I'm going to give them out till I have no more ducks to give, right? and I got through the first bag, and I went to the waterfall, and all of a sudden all these kids came in after their hockey game, and I'm giving them the ducks, and they're running around the water, and they're having a blast. And then someone said, there's 2 cops outside. I'm like, what? They go, yeah. I'm like, well, I'm not going to wait in here. I'm going to go see what the duck they want. So I walked out. I waddled over to the car and knocked on the guy's window. He rolled down his window this much. He's like, what do you want? I go, nothing. I go, do you want a duck? He goes, no. I go, you sure? What are they for? Absolutely nothing. I go, they're just ducks. I'm giving out ducks. There's no message. There's no saying. They're just for smiles. Do you want a duck? And he goes, all right. Right. So he takes one. I go, are you happy with your duck? I'm just being a goof. But he saw another one, and it was a Minecraft one. And he must have a kid because he's like, can I get that one? I go, yeah. And so he traded. So I'm like, you know what? That's awesome. I kind of made his day because I know he's going to go home and give it to his kid. And then I went up to the car. So I got rid of all the ducks. So then the next time was the Halloween parade was coming. And I had on Facebook and everything. And so the thing is they're all so reactionary. Everything I do, whether it's the minute I say a joke, they think I'm really going to go through with things.
Amen.
And they go crazy. They're like, oh, okay. And so the minute I made a joke about something and they went berserk, I'm like, well, now I got to do it because they think I'm going to do it. So I invited, they have a Halloween parade in town, and it's a family parade. Anyone can go to it. It's not a kids parade. When you get up to the high school, they have all these different things for the kids, but it's for families. I used to walk in it with my dog and my stepdaughter, and I would dress my dog up like a lion. So it's not something I hadn't done before. But because I advertised on one of the pages, the Free Karen Reed pages, like, hey, if you want to walk with me, get your duck costume and this and that. Well, I had to have a meeting with the police chief and the select board. And they were trying so desperately without asking me not to, because they knew they couldn't ask me not to. They were trying to get me to think for myself and don't do that. You don't understand. People are going to be triggered. I'm like, triggered by a duck? You got to be kidding me. I go, it doesn't say anything. They go, well, if you're, how it started first is I got the email saying, hey, John, we got wind that you're going to have something and it coincides with something we're having. And I go, oh no, I'm not having a protest. I go, I'm just inviting people to walk into the parade. And they're like, you can't do that. I go, yeah, I can. It's open to anyone. Anyone can go. And then that's when the back and forth came of, what if someone shows up as a red Solo cup? I go, it's Halloween.
That's hilarious.
But people are going, what if someone shows up as, I go, I didn't ask for any of that. I asked people to show up as ducks. I go, I think it would be hilarious. And this was all right around the exact time that Richie Schiffer and all his ducks, he was getting in trouble for all the ducks,
I was wondering.
Right?
Okay.
Yes. And I want to pretty much just walk in the parade. So I made the agreement with the chief. Listen, I'll ask anyone that's going to be coming to let me know if they're coming. I'll give you a head count of the ducks. I'll give you a duck count, and we'll all stay to the back of the parade. How's that? And we did. There was 6 of us. We stayed to the back. She drove right behind us in her
Of
cruiser,
course we did.
right? Because we were
Crafty.
the duck patrol, coming up the end of the parade, and everything was great. We had a great time. They had bubbles. The girls that showed up were blowing bubbles and giving out little bubble things for the kids. If I had more time, I would have gotten little quack things to go quack quack, and just. I did have a duck call
There's
for
always
my own.
next year.
I know. Like those little duck things they give you on the duck boats that where you can the little
I've
duck
never
whistles.
done that. And my husband's from right outside Pittsburgh and used to live in Pittsburgh after college.
Oh my
And
God, Pittsburgh.
I know the
Ugh.
fucking armpit of the world. Like,
Yeah.
he's over there watching the Pens right now.
Yeah, I don't mind the Penguins. They're all right.
Okay, well now you
It's the
are
Steelers. It's
me
the
all
Steelers.
over again.
No, I said I don't mind the Penguins.
I know,
Why?
I do. I'm a Brown.
You do?
I am a
The Penguins are hockey.
I am a
Blue Jackets? Do you like the Blue Jackets?
I just said I did. Yes.
Oh well, it broke up. Sorry.
Come on, John,
unstable. You have an unstable network.
Frank wants to know if you're a Bruins fan.
This year?
That was my next question.
I'm a hockey fan. I'm a hockey fan this year.
For everyone who is just now joining us, hello, welcome. If you are watching on YouTube, please make sure to subscribe to Canton Chronicles. That is our lovely guest, Jon.
No, Canton Chronicle. Chronicle.
Chronicle. My bad. I apologize.
There you go. And see, now the Michigan's gone. How's that?
And then,
I actually put that up because I didn't really want to advertise the Chronicle because I'm on your show. So I threw something, the first thing I could grab, I put up there. I was hiding the Chronicle from you, that's all.
I'm totally okay with you.
Okay.
That's what this is about. It's about content creators helping content creators, right?
Absolutely.
So, and then my X handle is Lacey Jane on X, and then
Lacey Jane on X.
Hello, and on X I am Lacey J Meeks. So I make it as difficult as possible. Apologize.
Why not all the same?
It's a long story. It's a long story, and it would be a whole thing to redo it all. But subscribe. We would greatly appreciate it. And if you are just now coming in, we decided to do this and be super casual because we are friends. We had a coincidental meeting. And he hasn't been on the show before, so
no.
I hope that
she didn't even tell me what the show was going to be about tonight.
No,
you might have. I just didn't read it.
No. I was like, we're just gonna be chill, and we're gonna talk about things and stuff, and take questions. So if anyone has any questions for Jon, please feel free to comment. And let us know. But I would love to get back or kind of dive into the main the topic in my opinion, which on a lot of people's minds. What is it like, of all, being with or being in a city that is right now being very notoriously known for corruption and a very high stakes murder? We had one where I lived about 5 years ago, so I'm trying to pull from your experience to see if we had a dateline on it too, see if it's anything like what we experienced in our little small town.
Well, first off, we don't know if it's a murder or not.
I don't think it's a murder. Sorry. That's a very good point. Thank you, John.
Right. It could be. We don't know. Uh, secondly, the the police audit apparently said there is
I
no.
don't think it's a murder of Karen.
Yeah,
Sorry. He caught
I'm
me.
I'm
He caught
I'm
me.
I'm just I'm
I know
just teasing with you.
I know
Um,
you are, and you did
the
a
the
good
police audit stated that there's no corruption.
that is. Well, and who did the audit?
5 stones.
And wasn't there a whole thing about like it wasn't the group that what are you doing, man?
Oh, there's this thing. It goes in a hat. Um, a guy gave me this knit hat, and these in the wintertime, it goes in the knit hat, and I got so I touched it. It fell out of the hat. Okay.
The ADD is real.
I didn't mean to hit the button. I didn't mean to hit the button, and I did. Sorry. So the town is fractured. You
Okay.
have people. Okay. Karen was not from Canton. Neither was John. John was from Braintree, right? And the people who are witnesses in this are all from Canton, and all their friends are from Canton. And I'm from Canton. And I think the problem is there are people from Canton that don't think the same way as the Commonwealth. And there's a lot. And that is upsetting because Canton is, when we grew up, Canton was that blue collar, hardworking, very loyal to a fault,
Yeah.
will do anything for you, shirt off your back. Don't worry, you don't have to pay me back kind of thing. Like this person needs help. That's what it is. And so you have people rallying around the family that is of witnesses, and you have other people that aren't, and then you have all the people from all the other towns, and now it's gotten even bigger because look, you're from Ohio, who are joining in with one side, the Karen Reed side, and it's literally a tug of war every day, and it's spilled over into everything. It doesn't matter. Everything to politics, to the police, to the DPW, to how the town's run, to you name it, you have the townies and the people that are on one side who will just label you out. Well, that's how the free Karen readers are. That's how they think. Like, no, if they don't agree with the smallest thing, they use free Karen Reed or FKR as horrible. Like, it's a label to put on someone. Doesn't even matter what the topic is. And at the same time, people will do it the other way, and they'll label them townies or McAlberts. So and none of them are backing down. And when I started my show with Eric, we started it with the intent of we want it to be open to anyone as long as they can, as long as they don't attack each other. We'll have anyone on, and if they want to come on and express their feelings and how they, or whatever, they can. But so far, it hasn't worked out that way. It's taken different turns. So,
Hold on, I gotta let my dog in.
okay, we'll stop the show for the dog. Everybody, hold on. Do 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 do
Come on.
do 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 do.
All right.
Okay.
We're good. So I'm sorry to hear that. That must be difficult. And then having all these people who don't live there throw in their 2 cents on the way.
And that's what offends the people that live there that are on the other side. They feel like they're getting ganged up on.
Yeah. I do understand that, and that I make it abundantly clear that I am not from there, and I feel a certain way because I'm not from there. I feel for the people that are there. In my opinion, things are very dilapidated is like
Mm-hmm.
the first word that came to mind. Like the blatant misconduct
Uh-oh.
and
Mullins. Sorry.
sloppiness.
Sorry if you hear the dog going crazy. Mullins is home, so
I'm glad he's
we have a shepherd.
with greetings.
Oh my god, we have a shepherd that
It's okay.
goes crazy for her. Yeah,
It's okay. Um,
he's a mama's boy.
so is my dog.
Yeah.
Does the same thing. Um, so how far away is Dedham from Canton, like drive wise?
5 minutes.
Oh, really? I thought it
Yep.
was further than that.
Nope. If you come down, if you were on the street, all right. If you left out of the police station, turned
Yeah.
right, and about 5 buildings down, turned right again onto Dedham Street. Call it Dedham Street because it heads to Dedham. It'll bring you straight down past the road that they took, Cedar Crest, that they turned. You know, you're on the road that Karen and John took, and then they
Yeah.
turned left to go down Cedar Crest. If you stay on Dedham Street, you literally will come down to the highway, go over the highway, and as soon as you're over the highway, technically now you're going to be in Westwood. And then if you continue straight on that road for about 20 houses, it brings you to the Rotary in you're in Dedham. So yeah, 5 minutes.
That's interesting. So
And there's other ways to go too, but I mean, yeah.
So you're getting a lot of I'm sure you're getting a lot of people from media, from lurkers like myself, who are coming in, and on the plus side, economic development.
You're not on the plus side. You're tiny.
On the plus side, it's
Oh.
bringing in money for the city.
Yeah.
On the other side, you know, it's kind of stirring a pot that's really
That doesn't
really
need to
already
be.
boiling over.
Oh, it's boiling over. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And now I've watched a couple of the videos. I've watched some of the videos from over at the courthouse.
Uh-huh.
And it's nothing like it was last year. I mean, I'll tell you, the police are they're on edge this year compared to last year.
Why
I
do
almost drove by there. I almost drove by there today just to go talk to one of them, but I let it be.
Why do you think that is?
I don't know. Because usually you think that if you have a job to do and you weren't part of this, right? But you're still on the force. You're gonna go do your job, and you're gonna kind of keep things, and you just you do what you're gonna do. But it looks very tense, which is horrible. Before it was they could talk to you and reason with you and be like, "Hey, can you do it?" Yep, yeah. Now it's like they're barking orders, and it's yeah, it's different. It's a different vibe.
That's not good.
No.
Wow. So what are you were talking about the audit, and
Yep.
We kind of got sidetracked there for a minute.
You're always going to get sidetracked with me.
Absolutely. It's totally cool. We have time for that. And once again, if anyone has any questions for Jon as someone who's actually there, living there, please feel free to put those in the chat. So
nobody's chatted except for Kim O'Brien, Detective Mullins, and there was another one.
There was another one.
I don't
Who
see
else?
anymore.
Kate
Molson. Kate Molson. Yep.
So
hi, Kate Molson.
I'm trying to show all the comments from the different people. Come on,
I think I know who that Kate Molson is.
Oh, stop, Kim. You're fine. We appreciate the interaction. We want to hear from you guys.
What? What'd she say?
She said I can't shut my mouth.
What are you talking about? You're texting. You're not talking.
Oh my gosh. So the audit says that there is no.
No, right. But there's a lot of other stuff on there. And there's a lot of people that fail to, there's no Easter in Dedham. Nope, there's going to be no Easter in Dedham. What it does is it fails, people fail to see all of the issues. It's like going in for a checkup and and you come out and you're like, oh my God, I'm fine, because you have no broken bones. But the doctor then gives you your cholesterol and gives you your blood pressure and gives you all the other stuff that you don't see, right? You might not see cuts and scrapes, but it's all the other stuff that you do see, you know? So there's a lot in that. Yeah.
Give us an example of one thing.
Oh, geez, I can give you a ton. So last night on my show, I dove in on just one topic, and it was the number of times they said the morale was low with the police department.
I believe
right?
that.
I believe that too. But they blame it on the citizens. And I tell anyone that Quebec stuff. Yep,
I know. I'm gonna, and we got to come back to the Easter thing soon. But
we will. Going. Yeah. So I looked at all the different times that it said morale was low, and all the reasons, and they're blaming the citizens. And I made an analogy of, okay, so let's say that the police department is the New England Patriots, okay, and the citizens are the fans. And the Patriots aren't doing well, well, the fans are going to let you know. Even in Pittsburgh, they're going to let you know, right? Right? They're going to let you know. So if you're on the team and the morale is low, it's not the fans' fault. It's the team's fault. And whose fault is that primarily? The coach. Who's the coach? Exactly. It's the coach's fault to get those players in the right position to do the right things with the right tools, and she's not doing it. All right? And she should be finding out ways to boost the morale. And they're not, because they're so reactionary. They can't even see, the outside of their own shadows.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're blaming everyone. And so my analogy is well, then maybe the general manager, i.e. the select board, need to bring in a new coach.
Yeah.
All right? Bring in a new coach, because you can't get rid of the whole team, right? You can get rid of you can make some trades here and there, right, which it happens. People leave and go to other. Yeah, they leave and go to other departments. You bring in new ones, okay? But when you bring in the new ones, it's your job to make sure it's not a toxic culture. All right? You want them. Yeah. So, because not everybody is in on this.
Right.
They're not. It's a couple people.
100%. 100%.
So that was one of them. And I went through all the different instances, and I read all of the quotes from the different offices that, and I said, as terrible as it is to hear these quotes, it's frustration. None of it's out of hatred. It's all out of frustration. One of them was, they're like, oh, whatever happens to me and this and that. Well, all right, police, fire, all first responders. I mean, I work in a mine. We get updated anytime someone here in America dies in a mine. They send us the fatalgram that tells you, yep, 27-year-old kid was working on this. He fell into that, and whatever, to let us know how dangerous it is.
Yeah.
They know how dangerous it is, but it's Canton. It's not Boston. It's not Roxbury. It's not Mattapan. It's Canton. But they have the same fear as the people, as the citizens. The citizens that are afraid of the cops are afraid of the citizens, and there's no one fixing it. And that's on the chief.
Wow. That was really good. Thank you, John. That was
Thank you.
That was super.
Not just a pretty face, I guess. Yeah.
No, yeah. You know what I'm saying. That,
I know.
you put it in great layman's terms for people who are just trying to come at this, who are saying, "Oh my God, it's so unrealistic for an entire department to be in on one murder." And yeah,
They're
I
not.
used
They're
the word
not.
murder that time intentionally.
Right.
I don't believe that everyone is in on this. It's going to
I
drive
don't
me
even think
crazy.
it was. I don't even think it was a murder. I think it was an accident.
This
I
is
think
going
it
to
was a drunken fight gone wrong. That's what I think it was.
what's the Easter thing?
Oh, Easter is the if I get this right, Mike. Easter is the FBI agent that the judge would not allow the defense to have as an expert witness. She said, "You don't need him. You can find other ways to let the jury know that they didn't do a proper investigation." He was going to come in and basically rip apart the Canton and state police's their investigation, everything they did, and the judge wouldn't allow it. So she said, "You can do it through cross examination."
Oh,
Yeah,
wow. Okay. I'm
Vermont bred Smith. Mullins makes me poutine all the time. Actually, it's poutine. Yeah.
Oh, um, yeah, and I feel like you can't get good. I always say poutine because I'm
Yeah,
from
we say poutine, but
Minnesota.
it's really poutine. Yeah.
I feel like you can't get that anywhere south of Cleveland, like that border
Yeah.
area. Like you
Well,
got to be
because you have
closer
to have
to
cheese
Cleveland.
curds. You can't just put, you just can't put melted cheese. It's got to be cheese curds. The meat pie, no, we have Roppy pie in Nova Scotia, and it takes like hours to make. Hours. I mean, hours to make. But it's amazing. We actually have a Roppy Pie festival up here in Massachusetts.
Very interesting.
Yeah. Yeah.
So okay, here I'm gonna share with you what I think happened, and I'm doing that so you can, as a Canton resident, critique the
Hmm.
hell out of it.
Go ahead.
Um, and this is based on, I did watch every single day of trial.
Hmm.
I have lived uh, for this case. Which, when this case goes, am I still going to be here? Absolutely. I
Right.
This is not over.
I'm hoping to go in one more time
In what?
into court. Into court. I'm hoping to
Oh,
go in one
oh,
more time. Yeah.
that would be really great.
Last year I couldn't get out of work for Jen. I so wanted to go for Jen, but
That
I
would have
ended up
been baller.
I got I got Knuckles and I got Higgins.
Um,
Yeah.
that's a pretty good one.
I know. Yeah.
Okay,
Both of them were good. Yeah.
so I feel like uh, John walked in there, and it was a situation where everyone was shit faced, and
Agree.
there were some hot and heavy feelings going through Higgins, and Higgins had let Albert know how he was feeling, whether it
Agree.
be right before he they got John came to the house, whether it be at the bar. Um, I feel like it was some stupid, like, rough and tumbling boy shit, like whatever the metaphor that Albert's used on the stand. He said like they were like roughhousing or something like that.
Playing grab ass.
Playing grab ass. Okay, I sorry guys. It's been almost a
They
year.
weren't duking it out, according to
No.
Matt. Yeah.
Um, I think that tensions were heightened.
Mhm.
I think that there may have been some stuff that John knew about the Albert family that
Absolutely.
that a lot of people don't talk about this.
This was not the
And
first time that John hung out with Brian.
no, no, they watched the Patriots game together.
No, not Higgins. I meant Brian Albert.
Oh, I am referring more or less to
Higgins, right? Yep.
no, to the I see. I don't want to put a false narrative out there, but apparently there was some there were some talks that John was looking into some illegal products being stolen, or not stolen, sold by a member of one of those families who is now
it's hard. It's hard for you to. It's hard to get that out, isn't it?
Who is now protected by the third party culpability motion that came out this week. So
there's anyways, so many stories.
I think shit just went from 0 to 100 like frat.
That's what I want to say. Something went wrong.
He fell back and he hit his head. I think that he got knocked out cold. And where murder comes in for me, John, is at what point does it become murder when you know that someone is gravely injured and you are not?
They didn't do anything to help. They panicked. In their drunken
stupid.
And because the snow, there was so much snow, on the ground and all over the place. I think it was just they panicked. Oh yeah, I missed that one, huh? Vermont. Was it bad? Is it that bad? I didn't want to watch it because I already know. There's more to it. There's going to be more news tomorrow, people. There's going to be something coming out tomorrow. I could have put
to subscribe to Canton Chronicle.
I could have put the teaser out tonight, but you know what? I'm glad I didn't. I'm glad that they're gonna do their little audit committee meeting tonight, and I'm sure people are gonna get worked up, and then at some point tomorrow morning, I will put I'm gonna put the little trailer out there, and everyone's gonna be pissed.
So tell me what your thoughts are on my thoughts.
I think we're close. I think we're both close. Okay. I think when she pulled up, so I go with what we can actually prove.
Yeah.
Okay. We know she came down, and here's the thing. They gave us so much stuff that you don't need. They filled days of stuff you don't need.
Money. Yeah.
Let's just make it easy, okay? John, Karen, and the rest of them are at the Waterfall Bar. Okay? All of them have been drinking. All of them are very good at drinking.
Right.
Okay? They're very comfortable because it's 2 streets, sometimes 3 streets from, it's 3 streets to home. Okay? Yeah. Is it right? No.
No.
The majority of the people that go to these restaurants in town do it? Yes. Okay? It happens. It's one of those towns.
Let's be realistic.
Okay. It's realistic. Okay. We know for a fact that they went down Cedar Crest. They missed the turn. They did a U-turn, came up because the other truck, technically, now, like I said, let's go with what we absolutely know. The pickup truck was coming down Cedar Crest at that point.
Yeah.
Right? They let Karen and John go. Okay? And then they pulled behind. We don't go by their testimonies of what they saw, what they didn't see. Because some people look at their phones. Some people turn to the person next to them. Yeah. All right? you don't know if you missed him running in the house, because if you do look at his strides on his phone, right at that original time, he made the strides of a 6'1" person. Big strides. He booted right into the house. Okay? We know that. We know Karen was there out front facing uphill. Okay? We can't go by anything inside the house or what people say, because I already proved they were lying. So we don't go by any of that. We then know that Karen was at his house at a certain time.
Right, because her Wi-Fi was on.
Because the Wi-Fi. And we also know, yes, his phone went up and down stairs, but he didn't. I think early on, a lot of people, because we watched Turtle.
Yeah, I was going to say we were watching content creators.
We watched when it first came out, and he fed us that. But he fed everybody a narrative. But I don't just buy into the narrative, because I know my phone can move without me. Okay? My phone can go over there, can go upstairs. Anyone can take it. All right? In a scuffle, the phone goes onto the floor. Right? The phone could have fallen down the stairs, and then someone ran back up the stairs with it. Or we don't know what happened. So you can't go by anything other than exactly what we know. All right? We know everybody was calling each other. We know somebody was calling his phone. Right? And it answered. We know all that stuff. So what I think happened is, I think he went in, and I think something happened. I think there was a big scuffle, a fight, whatever, and the dog got loose also, and that's where the dog grabbed him, and somebody pulled the dog off of him, right? And whether he fell down the stairs and hit his head on the tread of the stair, whether he hit his head on the machine, the bench, or whether somebody hit him on the back of the head while he was scuffling with somebody else.
Colin.
All right.
Excuse me.
There you go. Because we know Colin, thanks, Mullins, she came down to put clothes in the dryer and gave me one of these.
Oh, that's Mullins. Hi, Mullins.
Yeah. So we know that Allie McCabe, how about this? We know Allie McCabe gave us a story of everything she did that night. She went to a team dinner. Yeah. Then she went to her sister's basketball game. Then she went driving around with her two friends. And then she took her friends home. And then she came back and picked up Colin to bring him home at 12:10. All right? You think you know that. But Colin said she drove him from Mike Leonetti's house to 34 Fairview. And she left all that out. You go back to the testimony. I played it today on my Twitter. Colin testified that Allie drove him to 34 Fairview at like 10 o'clock from Mike Leonetti's. And he was there. And then she came back at 12:10 and picked him up.
I don't think that anyone is picking up what Colin's throwing down. I don't think anyone believes him.
No, because there's no way he got picked up at 12:10. If she picked him up at 12:10 and brought him directly home, okay, it's even shorter from 34 Fairview to the library by 2 minutes driving, a minute and a half, 2 minutes driving, than it is from 34 Fairview to the Waterfall Bar. It's literally, you can see the Waterfall Bar almost from the library, right? It's like a 5-minute walk. She would have gotten Colin home before Chris, not after Chris. B, if she picked him up at 12:10, brought him home at, say, 12:15, let's give him 12:16, just in case, right? Go back and look what time Chris and John and Karen were the last ones to leave. She would have been coming up Washington Street within minutes of Karen's car also going up Washington Street. They would have been that's why there's stuff missing. See,
yeah. Yeah.
That's why there's missing footage from the library and from the temple, because if they had even 2 or 3 more minutes after Karen's car went by these places, technically they should have seen Allie's car. But you don't have that footage to prove that. So you can't say Allie brought him home. You have to say he could have been in that house.
For everyone that's just joining, hello. I see we got a big onslaught of people. I'm assuming from Young Jerks.
They must have left. They must have left. They must have left the. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
Please make sure to like and subscribe. And if you are just coming in now, we actually just started our series.
Yeah, we just got here.
A few minutes ago. If you want to hear a bunch of riffraff and silliness, I mean, you're free to do
My
so.
father dying's not silliness.
No, that part was
No, it was good.
That part was genuine, and then your reactions, and that was great to hear. I believe it.
Dr. Drew, I talked to Bob, the shaman, the other night. He was decent to me.
Okay. Do you think he'll testify if they can't use him as a third-party culprit?
Yes.
What he testified to. I think that they will too. So explain your thoughts.
Well, that's 2 questions. Do you think he'll testify? Yes. What will he testify to? Can you repeat the question? I don't know. Can you rephrase that? Can you use that in a sentence?
I don't understand days and how they work.
Right.
Can you put that on a piece of paper and have my attorney look at it first, and then
Can we
me?
Can we take a bathroom break? No. And I do think that you're going to get that. I do think he's going to be in some sort of sedated state. Maybe he's going to. Yeah. Once again, he doesn't know how he got to Mike Leonetti's house. He doesn't know who is at Mike Leonetti's house. He didn't even know what he was doing at Mike Leonetti's house. Lally had to say, well, when you were there, did you drink? Yep. What did you have? Oh, Bud Light. Okay. The kid's brain was a mush. All right. But he knows what happened. He's just been told, don't remember anything. Just don't remember anything. All right. So he couldn't remember any of that, but he did remember that his sister, his cousin, his kissing cousin, picked him up and brought him over to 34 Fairview. And then she picked him up and brought him home. That's the extent of what he knows. So, and, the altar boy went up 3 flights of stairs to say goodnight, and Dad, no, he didn't. He didn't, because we know. We know he didn't. How about this? In the very first statement, you had Chris and Julie state that they followed behind to 34 Fairview. Then you have them say, well, Julie got a migraine and then Chris walked home. Every statement, I would go with the statement that was the first thing, not the something that came 3 years later when they've all been talking. I'm like, and here's the thing. I've had many times where I'm like, could she have done this? And could there be something else going on? And yes, there could be.
You have to always look at that.
You do. But that means, could she have done it? And could these people, meaning law enforcement, know she did it, but there's no evidence, so they manufactured the evidence to kind of seal her fate. And I'm like, well, even that is nefarious. So it's horrible. And I believe Chris. I believe Chris and Julie were there and Colin was there. The problem is I believe in coincidences. I don't believe in 72 coincidences in a row.
72 what?
Coincidences. Everything's a coincidence.
About the butt dials and...
Butt dials and, yep. Because originally they were trying to say, oh, there were tracks, like she made a 3-point turn, until they realized the wrong side of the car is damaged because he's in the wrong place. I believe he was put out there because of a plow. They want to say a plow. They were going to. This is an opinion, people, and that's it.
This is not fact, please.
It's not fact. My opinion is they were going to go with, let's put him out and say, yeah, he was going to walk home or he was going to go get a ride and he went out and he must have gotten hit by a plow. And that's what put him there. Oh, yeah. Or he's going to walk up the hill to the girlfriend's house. Yep. Because they made a point to tell Karen, we got to go by that house that Jon knows that he used to be with. Right? It makes sense, right? That it's all in that direction.
Yep.
The problem is they all lied. And that's not an opinion. I'm telling you right now, they all lied. Yeah. Matt McCabe lied. He said he was seated at the table when somebody said there was a car outside. We already know Julie Nagel kept looking out the window for her brother, right? He wasn't coming to pick her up, folks. He was coming to drop something off, not pick something up.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. She's looking out the window. She got up and went to the front door. Remember, Matt's still seated at the table, according to his own words. He's seated. Okay. And Brian Jr. is at the other seat at that table looking out the windows because remember he said, I looked out the window. And he's the one that said, oh, there's a car out front. And that's when Matt and Jen ran to the window. The front door, I should say. Right? Because according to Matt, he's like, oh, somebody said. But in the testimony, when they first made a statement to the police, he said he saw her pull up. You were saying you're seated. You can't see her pull up if you're sitting at the table and somebody told you, oh, someone's here. Things keep changing. That's a lie.
Yeah.
Right?
It shouldn't be changing if it's factual.
If Jen and Kerry, both of them testify to the exact same story, that they pulled into Jon's driveway, Kerry got out of the car, and they were and she was screaming, my taillight. And and Kerry said, oh, don't worry about your taillight. Maybe you hit something, but let's go in the house and look for Jon. Okay, that's the story she's telling you. Let's go in the house to look for Jon. So she remembers yelling at Karen, talking about the taillight.
Yep.
Jen gave the exact same story, right? She was talking about her taillight and Kerry was yelling at her. But then we went in the house and she didn't even take off her shoes. The problem is the ring footage shows otherwise. They never stopped. They got out of their vehicles and ran in the house. They made up that story after the fact. That's a lie.
No, Jon. I remember, if my mind serves me correctly, I remember them getting out in a hurry, looking at the taillight, and then running.
Watch it again. I've recorded it. I've recorded it number of times and posted it.
The shoes just drives me nuts, though.
The shoes, yeah. Yep.
Like, come on, you guys.
Right.
I don't. I mean, maybe I'm willing to think about
we have a tradition where every year we go back to my pizza place and I make pizza on their birthday.
Yes. No, okay. I know they didn't look at the taillight. Okay, all right. I must have been
see,
at a different.
I'm right. Video. I've probably screen recorded 90% of that trial. Honest to God.
I watched it live.
Yeah.
And then
me too.
Things go through. I watch Turtle Boy. I watch other content creators.
Yep.
And so there are parts that I've seen multiple times.
Yep.
But maybe the part when they're looking at the taillight is when they meet up for the initial first time. Is that?
But that's not what they said in trial. They said, so she's yelling at me, and I told her, let's go in the house and look for Jon. Right? So you can't have two people tell the exact same story only to be caught by the video footage that shows otherwise, and then have them say, well, maybe it was when we came out and that footage is missing.
Right.
Well, no, it's not when you came out, because you're saying, no, maybe you hit something. Maybe you hit something. Let's go in and look for Jon. It wasn't like, well, he wasn't in there. You know what I mean? It's all in the wording.
I one time in college, my college roommate, I hadn't seen her for like 12 hours, and we had been heavily drinking the night before, and we looked outside of the apartment for her everywhere, and someone was like, we just need to go back to the apartment and like reassess. And we followed what we didn't notice in the first time, a trail of rice from a burrito into her closet. And that's where
she was in the closet. Yeah. What was it? What was her first name?
I am not saying that, because
you can't say her first name.
No,
So it wasn't like Burrito Betty or.
Yeah.
Did it start with the letter B?
He was drunk.
It didn't start with the letter B?
No. No, and it
burrito.
Doesn't rhyme with taco, burrito, Mexican, anything.
Nothing? Nothing?
No. Para is something it rhymes with? Okay.
Burrito.
Snowing indoors and outdoors. I was feeling.
Yeah.
I know
there
what
you
you're
go.
saying, and that's what I was listening to earlier.
You're picking up what I'm putting down.
Yeah. Okay.
Because once again, okay, same thing with those two, with the brother sister, right? She said, mind you, you got to go by the times. Okay, so she's at the house having a good old time. All right? And the brother said, my sister texted me and said, hey, could you come down and pick me up whenever you're on your way home? And, but mind you, like I said, we know for a fact that pickup truck came down at the same time as Jon and Karen.
Right.
But all the other stuff is a lie, because she's trying to say, yeah, I texted him a little after 12. And he's saying, oh, yeah, I mean, she texted me, but we didn't leave for another 40 minutes. And we know it's a 5-minute ride, but we didn't leave till, like, none of the times. And I get it. They're all drinking. So the times are never going to line up. But the amount of time, like the times aren't going to line up, but their actions are. He's saying, we didn't leave right away. So she probably did text him earlier, like, hey, can you come get me? But then all of a sudden, Matt and Jen show up, and you're telling me that within a minute of Matt and Jen showing up, Julie Nagel decides she doesn't want to get picked up anymore? You know your brother's not there yet. Why wouldn't you text him and say, hey, you know what? Forget it, because they offering me a ride home. Don't come get me.
Blizzard. Like,
a snowstorm, right?
Hey, buddy, don't worry about
just head home.
Up. Like, I know you're going out of your way to help me. That also really didn't jive with me.
Right, because someone else is driving. He's with someone else. They're putting someone else out. They're not putting the brother out. They're putting the brother's friends and his girlfriend out. Right? And she goes out and, well, let me try and bring him in. Well, no, you want to stay, and now you want to talk them into staying, and they don't want to stay, and you say, well, I guess I'll find another ride home. No, you already had another ride home, because before you even went out the door, Matt and Jen offered you a ride home. It should have been, hey, I've got a ride home. Don't worry about it. Instead, it was like, well, I guess I'll find another ride home. It's all in the wording.
All right. So where do we go from there? So what are your thoughts about Carrie? Because when I listened to her, I thought she came across as very believable.
Me too.
I thought she was sincere. I think she has Jon's best interest at heart, and she has been mind fucked by this situation.
Absolutely. I think that they thought this was going to be a lot neater.
Yeah.
And that that Karen was going to take a manslaughter deal.
Okay, before I forget, one question I wanted to ask. If someone in this entire, out of all the witnesses, John,
Mm-hmm.
if someone were to flip, who do you think it would be?
Sarah Levinson.
Nice choice. Explain.
She's the only one inside the house that told the truth.
Explain.
She knew where everybody sat at the table. All right. She knew who was sitting at the table. She knew it. Just everything was matter of fact. It was short answers. You could tell that she was. You could tell she was scared. But she gave up all the information. And if you work off of all of her testimony, you can see all of the chinks in all of everyone else's. And the one thing that everybody does put is they put Brian and Brian at the counter behind the table. Brian and Brian are the only ones that never sat at the table. Everybody else is at the table, but except for Brian and Brian, which kind of tells you something that those two are available somewhere. And then if you go with Collins in the house too, you know, now you got three people.
Say that one more time, please.
Brian Albert and Brian Higgins were the only two never sitting at the table.
Got
They
it.
were either at the counter that goes to the kitchen or in the other room where that, you know, looking at trophies.
Were they
Once
really,
again,
that was upstairs. That was upstairs, right?
no. Only one person said they were upstairs, and that was Brian Albert. Yeah. Coco said they were in the family room. Caitlin said they were in the family room. They all said they were in the family room, except for Brian, who said they were in his kid's bedroom. Even after this, they live in this house. They know where those pictures are. They only recently just moved out of that house. You mean to tell me you don't know that the pictures are in someone's bedroom versus the living room? I can close my eyes right now and tell you where all the pictures are in my house.
Yeah, I think
I can close my eyes right now and tell you where all the pictures, how the house I grew up in that I haven't been in probably 15, 20 years. I could draw you a map and tell you about where all the furniture was, each piece of furniture, you know, everything.
Wait, I'm going to put this one up first.
I think Proctor, I'll tell you, Proctor, you know what? And I've said this before. He was a yes man. The brains behind this, in my opinion, the brains behind this was Brian Albert, Brian Higgins, Kenny Berkowitz, and Brian Tully. Right? Berkowitz took care of the Canton police. Tully took care of Proctor. And Brian Albert took care of the rest of the family.
How soon do you think that Tully and Berkowitz knew the whole story?
That night.
Okay, and do you think that's who Brian Higgins was calling?
I think Higgins went to Berkey's house. Berkey's house is right near John O'Keefe's house. Right, like a mile from the police station.
Okay. And this is also, once again, we are not lawyers. We are totally.
No, we're speculators. We are speculators.
I'm about to throw in something. Do you think that Jen came upon this on accident and they had to tell her what was going on? Or do you think
Jen McCabe?
Yeah.
No, what I think happened, Jen, was somebody stood in the kitchen doorway and said, "Nobody leaves this fucking house until we get our story straight." Sound good, Jen? That's what I think happened. That's what I think happened.
Okay.
It's a disclaimer. It's a disclaimer, people.
I also I know women.
She's gonna be
per-
burning down my Twitter tomorrow, calling me all the different names on her
I
fake
know,
handle.
like, I know women just like her who are like, who, if they sense in the air a situation that they shouldn't be a part of, they're going to immediately insert themselves. That is the kind of woman that Jen McCabe is.
Yeah, she took care of the kids. She took care of Sarah Levinson and Julie Nagel, right? They couldn't take care of the 3 kids in the truck. Couldn't take care of the 3 kids in the truck. They weren't part of. So look at it this way. 3 kids in the truck never saw a Jeep in front of them. They saw Karen's vehicle, right? Brian Jr. looked out the window, never saw a Jeep, saw Karen's vehicle, and saw the pickup truck because he said something about Karen's vehicle. That's when Matt and Jen went to the front door, according to them, right? Brian Higgins and Brian Albert never saw anything because they were in the kitchen, right? That's why the Jeep wasn't there. Once again, if we are to believe that Julie Albert is telling the truth, that she showed up bringing donuts. Oh, wait, let me back up. When they left the house at the end of the night, remember you said, who's the most credible? Sarah Levinson said there were 2 cars, one in front of each door of the garage.
Yeah.
With Jen's car behind, right? They walked by the 2 cars and got in Jen's car and they left. But every picture in the morning shows 2 cars stacked, no car in the front. But Julie Albert, when she pulled up, said she pulled in and she said Jen's car was there. And she pulled in behind Brian Jr.'s vehicle to go put the donuts and coffee in his vehicle, right? Meaning his vehicle is now there. Somebody had that vehicle. Who had it? We don't know. So we know they're all lying about stuff.
That's I'm trying to decide where to go from here in terms of the questions.
I got more for you.
Yeah, please.
Brian Higgins said he missed a call from Berkey at 6:30, and he woke up and he headed straight over to 34 Fairview, and he got there at 7:15. Sorry, I'm eating some gummy bears. Well, we know from 7 to 8, Gallagher was taking pictures of the driveway. Right? He took pictures of the street, of the driveway, and then he was leaf blowing and red solo cupping. From 7 to 8 was Gallagher, right? Yet nobody saw Higgins in the house at 7:15. How did Higgins get past? And Gallagher even said they put Mulaney at one end, they put Sarif at the other end, right? Because that was the way they secured it for that hour. Well, how did Higgins get by and nobody saw him?
I mean, he's a pretty noticeable person. What are your thoughts on Higgins this next trial?
See, it depends on who's going to ask the questions. So I think this next trial, I honestly think this next trial, Alessi is like, he's amazing.
He is like.
Do you have you looked him up?
Yes, Wikipedia. He's like the Jesus of the legal system. Like,
no, not just that. Not just that. Do you know how old he is?
No.
Okay. How old do you think he is? How old does he look?
50.
Let's see what you guys, so I thought he was like late 30s, early 40s, right? That was me. I just thought he was like this brainiac, nerdy lawyer, right?
Of course you did.
Holy crap. There you go. He's 67. Yep. He's 67 years old. He's friggin' jacked, right? If you go back to his Wikipedia, right? He went to college and he was a 4-year all-star goalie for 4 years. And
I can
then
see
I
him
think
being
he
a
played
soccer
either
fan.
semi-pro. He played either semi-pro or professional soccer, and he played rugby. He went to what's that school from pharmacy school. He went to pharmacy school, and
You
then
did?
he went to law school, and then he was already teaching. Right, graduated out of law school, and he was already teaching. He's amazing. Yeah, I thought he was way younger too. He's not. He's 67. Yeah,
Wow.
I gotta start running. Jesus Christ.
No,
Yeah.
your knees. No, it'll hurt your knees. You need to do
No,
something
I have an
else
elliptical.
cardiac.
I got an elliptical over here. I
Yeah,
don't use it.
ellipticals are great.
Yeah.
I am a very anti-runner. Sorry, people. It
Yeah,
just
I
it
haven't.
screws up your
Yeah.
knees
So doesn't hockey.
tremendously. I dated.
See?
I never got to mention this. We were talking earlier. I dated a hockey player, semi AAA,
Yeah.
and he was about to go off into go to Canada, and the practice before leaving for Canada, he ripped his hip muscle in half. This is the shirt on my website for all the Alessi people that are fans out there. Can you guys see that? Can you see it,
Yeah. I see it.
John?
Here's the other. Yep, we see it. Yep.
Okay, I've
yeah.
had issues showing things in the past.
Oh, well, yeah. You shouldn't be showing things. This is a PG show.
That's on my Etsy website if anyone's interested. Who?
Oh, you got to get Printify.
That I
Go
have.
to Printify.
I
Yeah,
have.
that's where I have all my Cronk stuff.
I have Printify, and it goes through
Yeah.
Etsy.
Hey, Mullins.
Anyways, and then I'm just gonna go ahead and show a couple things.
You
but
do it.
let's
see it.
I'm going.
Show us.
I'm going.
Come on. Hurry up.
So
Where's the rest of the stuff?
I think that Alessi should do the opening arguments.
I think Yannetti should do the opening arguments.
Why?
I'm from Boston. I like the Yannetti.
Okay, that's what I
Yannetti's got that. Remember, your jury's from the area. Yannetti's from the area. I think he's gonna match well with the people.
Yep. Okay.
And then let them see. I think Jackson's going to take a step back because the judge can't stand him, right?
You are
correct. He'll take a couple of mate because I mean he's not going to just completely take a step back, but he is gonna take certain ones, and I think they're going to do the same thing. And Liza Little will still get Coco and some of the other ones, and give like some major ones to Alessi. Because once again, if you went through Alessi's bio and his history and everything, Alessi's not taking this job if he even thought that she did this and was just trying to get off. He truly believes she didn't do this. There's lawyers that know that their clients are guilty, but they're in it to get their client off.
Yeah.
Alessi's not that type of person. Yeah. Alessi's in it. I mean, he's got that whole project where, if you're innocent and he does this for free.
I mean, he has been a godsend. And my favorite thing about him was the day that the judge was like, I'm going to give you 2 minutes. And he was already fired up. And he did not waste a single moment of those 2 minutes in just fucking railed through all the reasons why. What was that motion even about? For the life of me, I can't remember. But it was the same day that Yannetti was pissed off.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a very interesting off season. Let's just put it that way. Okay.
Yeah.
I finally have as many things I want to show. For people, especially if you are in the area and you are planning on going to any of the events, and we already know I'm gonna catch shit, John, for being a grifter. So
you're grifting? I just started grifting too. I'm a grifter. You're a grifter. Wouldn't you want to be a grifter too?
I'm just gonna show
as I drink my Brixton cider.
You're such a good promoter for them. So this is another
look at that, feeling cute
in my store.
Cute. You know what it should say on the back?
What?
Might testify later today. Feeling cute. Might testify later today.
Oh my God. Okay. All right.
You can have that one.
This shirt might be edited later tonight.
Oh.
Okay, I'm reading. I've had a bunch of sales this week on one item, which is it is a free Karen Reed shirt. I'm not going to spend our time going over this, so I'm going to show you guys like two more things.
Yeah, and I want to look something up while. Oh shit.
That's another. This is one of my shirts in my store. I've sold a lot of these shirts.
Real quickly, if I click on another tab, does it boot me out of here?
No.
So
and I
if
know
I'm
that
on,
you need something.
Yeah, I just want to look up the something real quick while you're showing your shirt.
All right, while I'm showing my shirt, this is actually the last one because this is awkward. We have a guest on the show. But I love John, and John, like, I will buy John stuff, and John will support me.
2XL. So, you know what a grifter is?
It's someone who is. It's called capitalism. That's what it is.
No. A grifter is a con artist. We're not con artists, okay? A grifter is someone who swindles people out of money. We're not swindling anyone out of money. You're selling merch, okay? A grifter is someone who cheats others out of money.
I'm not giving 100% of proceeds. I'm giving 10%.
I'm not giving anyone anything.
Because I can't afford to pay for shipping and printing. And
that's why you use Printify. It's all built into it.
I use Printify.
Well, there you go. You don't have to pay for shipping.
Are you able to afford to do 100% of all of your merch to go?
What do you mean 100%?
Like, I give 10% of my merch sales to the Karen Reed Defense Fund.
I don't give anything to anyone.
So I'm a grifter because I am not.
No, you're not a grifter. I just told you what a grifter is. You're not swindling anyone out of money. A grifter is a con. I'm reading I just Googled it right here. A grifter is a con artist. You're not a con artist. A grifter is someone who swindles people out of money through fraud. You're not doing that. You're selling merch. A grifter is someone who cheats others out of money. You're not cheating. Grifters are also known as chiselers, defrauders, gougers, scammers, swindlers, and flim-flam. You're not any of that. You're selling merch.
Thank you. I appreciate that. But so Yannetti did good with whoa.
How much time do you put into your show? Not on it. I'm talking about other than when we're on right now. We've been on for almost 2 hours. 1 hour,
I
50
cut
minutes,
off
right?
at 9. I cut off at 9.
Okay. But how much time do you put into your show? Research, pulling up stuff, making merch.
I put in, I'm not comfortable saying for other.
No, but you don't just turn it on at 7 o'clock and shut it off at 9 and that's all you do. You do other stuff.
I create these items from scratch in my own head and not looking at other people's merchandise. Like,
no, but that's what I'm getting at. You put in time and effort outside of the 2 hours that you're on that show.
Yep.
Okay. You don't think that time is worth something?
Exactly.
Okay. So what I do, and this is just what I do is, yes, I have super chats. I don't ask anyone to do super chats. If they do it, they do it. Right. But you will. You will. Right. Like I said, I cheated. I got a big audience real quickly because I had a couple of bigger name guests on that people want to see them, not me. And I guess I was funny enough that people stayed. But I made merch. And I told people, I said, listen, I'm not asking you to donate. If you want to donate, here's my Venmo. But I'd rather you buy something so that at least you're getting something out of it and I get a couple bucks.
A trade of services.
Right?
Yep.
Yes. And that's what the merch is. It's the same thing as when you buy merch at a concert. They're trying to make a couple bucks. Yeah. You're not a grifter. You're not a grifter. Don't ever say you're a grifter.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much. Okay.
You're welcome. Okay, sorry.
So, before we wrap up, who do you think is going to be the most important witness for the defense, for the Commonwealth? And then who do you think should do those, should be the one questioning those witnesses?
Who's going to be the most important or most interesting? Most important. The most valuable, or you should say most valuable to each side.
Go ahead and provide as many answers. If we go a little bit over 9, that's fine. So, I'm trying to be respectful of your schedule.
Oh, I got pricks and ciders right here. I'm good.
Go ahead. Yeah. Go ahead, please. Please, John.
The most valuable to each side, we'll say, not most important, right? The most valuable witness to the prosecution is probably going to be one of the experts, and none of the. It's going to be an expert. And see, oh look at that, Vermont is going to be crash daddies, but the jury ignore them. Right. I think this whole trial is going to be the trial of the experts.
Okay.
If they allow Garrett Wing in, I think yes.
So good.
So good. I watched that whole freaking show that night.
I was like,
on Melanie Little. Yes. I think this is it's going to be a completely different approach. It's going to be all the experts, but I think the defense is going to bring all these people up just to embarrass them again. They know that they lied. They're going to catch them in the lies, and they're not going to spend as much time as they used to. They're just going to catch them in 2, 3, 4 lies and let them go. I'm done with you. I'm done with you. I'm done with you. But they're going to make Jen stay in there for 2 days. They're going to make Jen. They're going to take the big hitters and put them in there to make them sweat, because they know what they did, and they're gonna make them all sweat, and all the other ones just a couple minutes with. So it's going to be the experts.
Okay, so that's for both sides, or
just for the most valuable? Most valuable, yeah. Because you can't trust any of the other ones. You know.
I mean, I hear what you're saying.
The most valuable evidence is the footage you do have. You have footage of the library at 12:15 when they all left the bar, and you can see the street perfectly. The most valuable footage is when they did leave the bar, and you can see the parking lot of the waterfall perfectly. when they drove by the temple on their way to the party, perfectly. So then why is Higgins plowing their driveway when there's no snow? Okay, on the asphalt. There's a little bit on the grass, nothing on the driveway. And if they had cars at the front of the driveway, he's not making a pass of the driveway because there's already cars in the driveway. Coco's car should be in the driveway. Brian Jr.'s car should be in the driveway. Only Brian Sr. should be pulling in. There should be cars in the driveway. When they come back from the waterfall, there should already be cars in the driveway. So there's no reason to be plowing the driveway. All right? The most valuable footage is it's all in. I knew when we saw that the original footage, I knew right away something was up. I'm like, I didn't know it was inverted. I just said to myself, that's not how you, because I know the police station. I'm like, that's not how they would come into the police station. I'm like, what's up with that camera? And then I did. I saw the door and I saw police backwards, and I'm screaming at my TV going, it's friggin' flipped, right? But there's still enough. There's still enough to see. And then the absence of footage is evidence. The absence of the 45 minutes. We found out in the audit how many cameras are all around that station, right? There's, I have to look it up. There's like 28 cameras. 28 cameras. Hey, Britt. Hi, Britt. I think there's 28 cameras. I got to go back and read the audit. But it's in the section where they show the outside garage doors. But they said I think there's 28 cameras. But yet we only got 4 camera views. We got the one that looks down when they were working on the taillight. We got the inverted one when they came in. We got the one outside when we watched them drive in. That's 3. I think that's all we got. We only got 3. 3 camera angles out of 28 cameras.
Dr. Manchu brought up something that I've been meaning this entire conversation to discuss, and I'm actually writing it down.
Scroll back up and
No. I'm writing it down because this is my way of punishing myself.
Okay.
Why?
You bad girl.
Why? I'm so bad. Why? Why?
Sorry, people.
Why doesn't everyone who listens to the testimony and knows this case think, I'm mostly talking to the anti-Karen Reed people, think that it is extremely suspicious that we had a Boston police officer who had a window that overlooked the spot where a bunch of ambulances and a dead police officer was, didn't wake up until Jen came into the room screaming.
When she came bursting in the room and the dog didn't jump out and try to lunge at her?
Exactly.
Huh?
Why didn't he leave his home?
Why didn't Tommy Kelleher leave his home?
When you live next to a train track, you ignore those kind of noises. I used to live right next to a train track.
Yeah.
My neighbor's house caught on fire. I immediately heard the first engine coming up.
Right.
Come on, y'all.
You don't ignore it. You know it by heart. I lived right near I lived near the train too when I was in Canton. And yeah, you hear it. You're just very comfortable with it.
Oh, I can sleep through it. It's comfortable, comforting.
But then why didn't Tommy Kelleher come out? He's the deputy police chief. He would have been the most senior person. He didn't come out. He handed the cups out his door. Here's some cups. Let me go get some cups. I'll give you some cups. What's going on out there? No, John O'Keefe's, in the body. No big deal. Go back to bed, Tommy. Go back to bed. Yeah, okay. Yeah, sure. The old days, everybody, You remember that movie, The Professional?
No.
Oh, such a good movie with Leon. He's the he's an assassin, and Natalie Portman was just a kid back then, and her whole family was assassinated, and so she goes and lives with this assassin, and I forget what that guy's name is.
I have it written down.
The
I've
Professional.
been going through movies.
So anyways, the corrupt cop who's in charge of all the police, they know the professionals in one of the apartments, and they're like, he goes, "Get me everyone," and one of the cops goes, "Everyone," and the guy goes, "Everyone," and he screams, and it's basically, but that's how it used to be. Something happened, everyone comes running. It's all hands on deck.
When we lost 2 police officers, now they were working. They were on the clock, and it was a domestic, as it always is, it seems like. And they were just, it was a horrible situation, and they both lost their lives in my small community. And if you look at Columbus is like the 11th largest city in the United States. We had every surrounding county, not in every single city in like municipality in Columbus here to help us, to provide services, to pick up, so that the entire city where I live, all the police officers could go home and be with their families, because it was such, to lose 2 tenured officers in one situation was just devastating. It just doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel right. It feels like maybe Jon was making some noise where people didn't want noise to be. He was being a cop. He was being a good.
Do you live on a main street?
Do I live on the main street?
Do you live on a main street?
Yeah.
Or okay. Right. If right now,
I just committed suicide right out.
No.
Like a
but
mile
right now,
away.
if me and you were doing the show, and you hear like an accident, right, like literally right in front of your house,
happened. Yeah, it just happened right before our show.
Are you gonna run out to go check on those people?
If it happened
I would.
in front of my house, yes.
Yeah. So if something's happening in front of my house, everybody does it. The ambulance comes down the street, the lights are lighting up your room, because you're gonna, even if it's going to the neighbors, people are nosy. Yes. Everybody's nosy. You're gonna go look. If there's an accident outside of my house, I'm running out there and checking if these people are okay. I'm grabbing my phone. I'm calling 911.
Can I bring towels? Can I make sandwiches?
Holy crap! Right.
Like anything.
Do I have to get them out of the car? Do I have to, because you're going to do that because it's 6 to 8 minutes before anyone else is getting there. So the fact that Tommy Kelleher didn't come out is also telling.
That's a very good point, and I appreciate that. Before I forget, did you hear? Now, once again, this is and before I ask this question, if you've just joined in, please make sure to, if you're watching on X, follow us. I'm Lacey J Meeks, and this is why don't you share your Twitter name?
You are listening to Lacey Jane on YouTube TV.
Jon is Dixie Normus.
I'm Dixie Normus on Twitter, and I have a blast on there with the trolls, but they don't troll me like they used to. Because they know I don't give a shit, so they get fed up with me. Yeah. Karen's a killer. Karen's a killer is my favorite on there, and I think she flirts with me a lot, and so I have a feeling I know who Karen's a killer is. Sorry.
And then we're going to come back to this.
Okay, but Karen's a killer. We know who that is. I think we know who that is. Hi, Jen.
Okay.
Okay.
On that's the J and E's with an on YouTube, if you are watching, please like and subscribe. I am Lacey Jane on X, and this is Canton Chronicle. And I do this every Thursday night from 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern. I interview guests in true crime stories, real life stories that are of interest to me. And for the last like year and a half, it's been this case. So this is just the greatest guy ever from Canton. And I would recommend that you follow him. And hello, Detective Mullen. Sorry I didn't know who you were. I would love to meet you. Any loved one of John's is a loved one of mine. Charlie, I have dibs on him. And then the thing I wanted to say, did you hear about this whole lawnmower service? This guy
I tried to put your Venmo up. It didn't work. Sorry. I was trying to put in the comments Lacey Jane 73 on Venmo, but it says this comment has failed to post. I don't know why. Because I wanted to help you out and say, everybody, don't forget her Venmo. If you watch the bottom of the screen, and if I go, there it is, Venmo at Lacey Jane 73. Or if you have Cash App, I don't know, I don't have Cash App, money sign Lacey Jane 73.
He's just the greatest, isn't he? He's just the greatest.
Yeah, I know it's on the bottom of the screen, but it scrolls. What she should do is put it on another one of those bubble things. Just have it come up. Lacey Jane, just leave it there. Yeah.
Oh.
Lacey Jane. Yeah.
You know, I'm still new to this, remember?
Yeah, because now you have to wait for it to scroll across.
Okay. Well,
yeah.
I will.
And how come our name's on at the bottom? You got to put our names on the bottom of our screen.
No, that was you.
I do that.
Don't even go there with me, John.
What? You got to put your names at the bottom.
You had the opportunity to put it on the bottom,
all right.
You were like,
I rushed. I was rushing to get here.
This is what we do. Excuse me. So anyways, this lawn mowing service apparently has video. I cannot. I feel like I need to go on to X and look this up. But if anyone else in the chat is familiar with what I'm talking about, there is a someone who does mows the lawn for the I think it's a neighbor, and they have video of someone being there that shouldn't have been there.
This is the first I've heard of that. You beat me to this one.
This was a tweet that I read last night while waiting for the impending tornadoes. And I definitely bookmarked it. I just don't want to spend my time on my phone going through this. I was hoping that someone else had seen this as well. How do I heard it come out of my mouth and I was like, I'm not going to be my mom. I'm not going to ask how to do something online.
What do you need? Come on, tell me.
I'm kidding, Mom. I know you're watching.
Do you want me to entertain everybody while you're looking?
Yeah. That would be very helpful. Thank you.
Well, I just didn't want you to have a lot of dead air, you know.
Thank you. No, I really want to show you guys or tell you guys about this.
Right. So, everybody, while Lacey is looking this up, I just wanted to take the opportunity to thank Lacey for having me on. And don't forget, you can go to her merch store. You can go and Venmo, the grifter, Lacey Jane 73, or Cash App her. at money sign Lacey Jane 73. Oh, and oh, by the way, they're wild berry ones. I got the big bag. I didn't want to be eating the munchies. I literally didn't have dinner because I was delayed getting home, so I just have those in my Pricks and Cider. And since we're grifting and she's still Googling stuff, if you go to my merch store, you can get Pricks and Cider mugs. You can get Pricks and Cider. We have bathing suits. We have bathing suits for old people, and we have bathing suits for the young people, for the bikini wearers. We also have beach towels. Because after a long day of work, I mean, you deserve a Pricks and Cider. We have all that stuff, and we have Nan bought 3 shirts for me today. Only Nan, yeah. So, Canton Chronicle Printify. I don't know what the dash means already. Go to Printify, type in Canton Chronicle, and go through the store. We got golf balls, we got golf towels. We got Pricks and Cider women's panties. We got all different things in there.
Okay.
Yeah. Have you Googled it yet? Because I'm running out of merch to push.
I have been. You know what, you guys? I will. If you follow me on X, I will find it. I knew I was never gonna find it in that quick of time. Like,
nope.
I'm rushing, so
that's why.
I will find it, and I will ask Jon to record himself giving an answer, and then
I love to record myself.
I know I will. I'll just show up at your house with Detective Mullins there. And I'll be like, you promised me that you would do this, even though you have not done so. I will gaslight you in that sense.
I know we learned what gaslighting is tonight.
Like you did with me earlier.
Yes.
You guys are too much. So if anyone has any questions before we close up,
and make them short. Make the answers short.
I'm not.
No. Ask the question so I can have a short answer. My answers are wicked long.
Detective Mullins seems like a really nice
sweetheart.
lady.
Such a sweetheart.
You really
such a sweetheart. Mullins, did you lug anyone tonight?
Hank Brennan is the king of gaslighting. You know what? I'm going to show this because I
got a question for you.
Me?
Yes.
Okay, what?
Okay. If you had... So, what they say, it's going to be 6 weeks, this trial, right? And now that you've heard Hank Brennan's voice, and you know what Lally's voice is, if you have to, which voice do you want to listen to for the next 6 weeks?
Is purgatory an option for non-Catholic?
No, you got to pick one. It's like kiss or slap.
I really do feel like I could go back with Lally. I really do.
What if anything? Who, if anyone, was driving the ambulance? Come on, really, guy?
You got that really good. You did that perfectly. You really did that perfectly. Brennan, he's not even talks like this, but
he is nasally. He's nasally.
Oh,
yeah, he's very nasally. Yeah, but that whole what if anything and finally, I mean, how many times do you have to listen to people? We shoveled the apron. Yeah, we get it. It was snowing in the morning. Oh, speaking of which, here's another one. If you're a cop and you have a fallen brother, are you going to go break out your snowblower? And you have a 4-wheel drive vehicle. You have a pickup truck, right? You have a 4-wheel drive vehicle in your driveway. There's 3 inches of snow. And we know it because we saw the pictures at 8 o'clock of Jen pulling into the driveway and the snow's only a couple inches up on the tires, right? Are you going to break your snowblower out and snowblow your driveway? Or are you just going to run out to your truck and get in your truck and head down to the police station? They lied. Just saying.
I really appreciate you being as transparent as you've been, John, as someone who lives there and knows that it could be difficult to share the uncomfortable, inconvenient truth, as the disgusting Michael Moore once wrote about. But
Well, what pisses me off is when you watch them look at the jury as if, oh, yeah, well, I guess that's plausible. I made the decision. I made the decision to use my four-wheel drive pickup truck to drive through the treacherous conditions so that Proctor could call people. You mean text his sister while you drove? Is that what you mean? You know, it's, come on. Stop bullshitting bullshitters. We live in New England. But that's what they're
I know
doing
you
to
guys
people.
are the best of the best. No offense. Everyone in Ohio is just like really nice, so it's been a whole thing. It's been interesting.
Like you've never gone out of your house in the snow and said, I'll shovel this when I get home. And you just walk to your vehicle, get in your vehicle and go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, R23H from Canton. Is that Canton, Ohio or Canton, Massachusetts?
Good point. Canton,
Yeah.
Ohio is where
And
the
you're from the
Football Hall of Fame is.
yeah.
I'm going there on the 12th.
Are you in the mean streets of 02021? There you go.
MA.
R23H is from the 02021.
Well, you guys,
So,
this has been fun. It's been
was
real
it? Did you have a good time?
fun.
Are you regretting asking me on?
Are you kidding? Absolutely not.
All right.
Like, this is
Well,
what
because I know I'm a little much for some of the other creators. So
you know what?
you know.
That is unfortunate, and
Yeah.
I have had that happen with me, and I actually think that that person is pitiful, and
Yeah,
it's
it happens. It happens.
So,
Thank you, Kim. Kim was here from the minute you hit go. Kim was
I
here.
need to send Kim a shirt or something or a sticker.
A sticker. Send her a sticker.
I
have those I have postcards in my merch store of the picture that Jen sent to someone else of, but I signed it. So I got an autographed picture of me in my Canadian Speedo. Yeah. You want to buy that from this grifter?
that's funny.
Not
Thank
one
you
is
so
bought.
much.
No one's bought one of those yet.
Everyone who's in here, I will, when I about Boston, Dedham, Canton, I will
Yeah, shoot me a text before you head out so I can plan it.
I will let you guys know. I'm seeing your uncle before I see you. Let's be fucking real.
Whatever, Charlie.
And if you wouldn't mind, I'm gonna stop recording this, and then can I speak with you after the stream?
Yeah. Did you know that his niece was once the
off.
colonel of the state police?
Whose niece?
Charlie.
His niece was the what?
The colonel of the Mass State Police. Yeah. Yep.
No. Is that your sister?
Oh. No, cousin? It would be but through marriage. So like there's no, yeah. I mean, yeah. So Leanie's. So Leanie's Charlie's wife's sister, her daughter, was once the colonel of the Mass State Police.
Arlene did not tell me that.
There you go.
There you go.
Yep. I know. Okay,
guys. Next Thursday night, I will be here, and I actually have a really exciting guest scheduled. I mean, I can't say it's more exciting than John because he's like fucking.
I'm so getting yelled at in 3 minutes, people.
It's just like with John and I, it's easy. Like we just
easy like Sunday morning.
Like Sunday morning. all the moves and the grooves. All right. Yep. Thanks, guys. Remember to subscribe, follow, like, share, whatever the fuck you want to do. We appreciate it. And I'll see you guys next week. Bye. Gonna make you keep doing that.
Did you? It's still going. Hold on.